What's up, YouTube fam? Back today with another message, and I wanted to talk today about the Saturday full moon that we have coming up in Sagittarius. This is going to be happening on June the 3rd, and it is going to be kind of a little bit of a wild card, but very, very interesting and very exciting. This Sagittarius full moon is called the strawberry full moon. So it brings a lot of sweetness, harvest. It brings a lot of just very spring, summer energy. It has a lot of like amplification to it, very high energy for sure. So very adventurous. This is a great time. It's going to be a great weekend to definitely go on an adventure, do some exploration, do some wild things that you never thought you would do before. Um, it's definitely an energy that's going to amplify and push us. So made some notes for myself here because there's a few different things to cover about this full moon that you should know that will help you to prepare for it, both energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically. So one of the main themes of this strawberry full moon that we're going to have in Sag is that it's going to be illuminating something that we didn't see before or that we didn't understand before. So there's going to be a massive influence with regards to our perception and how we perceive certain things, how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive others, how we perceive situations. There's a lot of different areas of your life that may be really illuminated at this time with this full moon. You're just going to have clarity over things that you didn't have clarity over before, or you're going to see things from a very different perspective that is going to help you to move forward with that project, that person, that situation, that work thing, whatever it is. It's going to shift you into action. So it's also going to be opening us up to, like, just like I said, a brand new perspective. And this isn't going to be in one area of life, it's going to be in many different areas of our lives. The perspective shift is now a part of this ascension, right? So as we move up the spiritual ladder, as we evolve and ascend, and as we become more mature souls and more grounded individuals, we are going to really start looking at the world and everything else around us very, very differently. And it's going to be in a more elevated perspective. And it's also going to bring some truths and some realities that might be a little bit hard to swallow for some of us, right? Like, we're going to see certain things from an angle that we didn't see before, and it's going to potentially shock you or surprise you, or just really make you think or make you have an aha moment about it. And this could be anything, like I said, personal or just events happening in the world. There's also an energy of learning and communication. So Sagittarius is definitely a very wise sign. It is definitely one that is connected to higher learning and to higher education. So there's going to be a theme of that as well. And this is also a time, like, I feel this pull for all of us to, like, it's time to learn something new. It is time for us to be willing to expand our minds and open our minds to new possibilities, new information, new knowledge, that is going to shift us into awareness. It's going to shift us into understanding things better. And it's also about learning those new things that we're afraid to do or that we're unsure of, to give us a boost of confidence, to give us a boost of energy and motivation and inspiration to really move in that direction. Because in most cases, like, when we're afraid to do something, we're afraid to do it because we don't understand it. We don't understand enough about it or about how to do it to actually motivate us to want to try. So this is about pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones and being willing to learn something new that is going to help expand our life in some kind of a way. Communication is another huge theme that is happening with this energy. So again, remember I was talking about how there's like adventure and all this beautiful energy around this full moon. So communication is also a wonderful thing right now. This is a great time for people to come together and talk about certain things, especially some themes might come up where it's like, it could be a difficult conversation to have, but like, once you have the conversation, it's going to really, again, the perspective will shift in a huge way. You're going to see things very differently, and it's going to create like liberation within you. So it's going to give you this sense of like ease and this sense of like, oh my God, I finally did that. And I feel so much better now that I had this conversation with this individual. So there's definitely an energy of that as well. That's really, really supported at this time. So it's like, because again, full moons are always about completions, right? And completing a cycle. So this full moon is definitely going to be about closing out this cycle of like holding back and of not saying what you need, or not speaking your truth, or not speaking your boundaries, whatever it is for you specifically. Tune into that and figure out what it is within you that you've been holding back for a really long time, that you haven't said perhaps to somebody, or haven't dealt with an issue that needed dealing with. How you think is also going to be really influenced at this time. So we're closing out certain cycles when it comes to our thought processes and how we think about certain things. Again, very much pertaining to ourselves, but also to the outside world. So you may notice that your thought process changes quite a bit, and will start gradually shifting as we move through the week and into next week. And that's a very good thing too, because sometimes we can get in a rut, right, when it comes to our thoughts, and they can get like looping on these cycles that are extremely toxic and unhealthy for us. And we don't even realize we're doing it until we just kind of catch ourselves one day, and then you feel, the heaviness of those thoughts and how they don't make you feel good. So that is also going to be coming up for expiry, and for us to release and let go at this time. And I just saw a huge, beautiful yellow monarch. You don't see the yellow ones too often. We see more of the orange black, but wow, that was gorgeous as I said that. So how you think is getting an upgrade as well, which is so good. I think so many of us need an upgrade with that. Your personal self-expression is going to be also shifting. This is going to be a very, very beneficial time, and a very good time for us to shift the way we express ourselves personally. So that's also something that you might notice for yourself is coming up, like where you just have a desire to express yourself, and you're less likely to hold back. You're less likely now to have guilt or shame or anything around that. There's just going to be this opening of energy where it allows you to really speak your truth in a very kind or loving and just sort of natural way. This is about highlighting authenticity within us, and allowing us to really express ourselves. And this could be expression creatively in all kinds of different ways. So whether that's verbal communication, whether you're expressing yourself through your art, or your writing, or your singing, or your dancing, or however it is that you choose to creatively express yourself, that is also going to get a huge boost this weekend. So definitely grab your paintbrushes, grab your whatever, and get into that creation mode, because this energy is going to lift that, it's going to amplify that, and it's going to push you forward and support you in that. Another important part of this new moon energy is new choices. So there's going to be a feeling and a sense within us that we have like these new choices available to us. New choices, new options, possibilities are going to be now becoming available to us. So again, there's a closing out of cycles, especially cycles that connect to lack or lack mentality, cycles that have been about being stuck in a rut, or being in a comfort zone that we've had difficulty breaking. These cycles are now coming to an end, and it's opening us up to allow more like options, more possibilities, more creativity, more fun, more lightness, more excitement in our lives. That is also hugely amplified at this time with this full moon. So it's a great time to get out of our heads and into action. And this is also a very good time to think about the kind of action that you want to take, especially when it comes to certain creative projects and certain things that you want to do. Like taking action when it comes to certain ideas that you have, certain dreams or visions. And like I said, projects, huge, huge push here to complete certain projects and things like that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. The other thing is psychic, clairvoyant energy is also on the rise at this time. So a lot of us are going to notice that we're just going to be a lot more psychic, a lot more tuned in, a lot more perceptive, and we'll just be picking up on certain energies that we wouldn't have picked up on before, or we wouldn't have noticed before. So if you're someone that's definitely highly sensitive, someone who has a lot of just sensitivity, like physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, then you're definitely going to notice some of those gifts amplifying at this time. So it's like we're being more and more opened up to our gifts. And the more that we do our shadow work, the more that we move through the darkness within us and process, unhealed trauma and process all kinds of different things, the more that these abilities are actually going to be opening up. This is something I've already noticed for myself. So the more healing work that I do internally, the more that I'm actually expanding my gifts, my skills, my abilities. Definitely psychic, my clairaudience, clairsentience has been like through the roof, way more perceptive than I was before, and just getting a lot more visions, getting a lot more downloads, a lot more insight into things that I didn't quite have insight into before. So you may notice that as well. So I just want to list the 6 different clairs that we have, that some people have, some people don't, and some people just have some of them, not all of them. So there's clairvoyant, which means to see. This is when you get visions and perceptions and actual images in your mind. There's clairsentience, which is feeling. So this is you'll get feelings, either physical feelings or like you'll just get a feeling about something, very strong intuition. So that's clairsentience. Clairaudience is when you hear certain messages in your head, or like you'll hear words, you'll hear certain phrases or a song or something like that. That's clairaudience. Claircognizance is like just clear knowing, is when you just have a clear knowing about things. Clairalience is smell. So that's when you smell things, and even though there's no physical thing around to actually, like say you'll smell perfume, or you're going to smell like cigarette smoke, but there's no one around even for miles that is smoking. So that would be another way of perceiving. Or clairgustance, which is the ability to taste. So you'll get a certain taste in your mouth that you can't identify. It's not coming from anywhere, but like you'll get a certain perception, and then it'll be accompanied with a taste in the mouth. That's usually an indication too that you're picking up on psychic information. So all of these different clairs can be heightened at this time. So if you are noticing that you are tasting, smelling, hearing, seeing, feeling things that you normally have, then just know that these are your psychic gifts actually coming online and strengthening at this time. So don't be alarmed by it. So now, all that being said, meditation obviously is going to be a very powerful tool to use at this time during this full moon, and even the days and all this week, like the days leading up to the full moon, will be very, very useful to do. It just allows you to quiet your mind. Remember, the perception is shifting. So the more we quiet the mind, the more we actually allow that downloading and that channeling to flow, and for that information to come through for us. So meditation, inner reflection, silencing the mind is definitely going to be helpful and important at this time. Also about when you're meditating or going into inner reflection, think about where you are, like right now in this moment in your life, and where you want to go. And then meditate on that actually, and visualize like where you want to go. Just take a very real look at where you are and then where you want to go. Oh my God. Wow. That was a massive, massive bird that just flew super low. Wow. Lots of confirmation from spirit with the stuff I'm saying. All right. There's also upgrade energy happening at this time. So like I said, this is why meditation is going to be very helpful for this weekend, because downloads, messages, communication is going to be coming in if you allow it, if you make space, if you make silence within your mind to allow that to come in. It can come in for you. Solutions can come in for you. Different messages from spirit that'll guide you in the right path. All kinds of things can come in for you if you give yourself some space and silence the mind. And it doesn't have to be for a long time. Keep that in mind, people. When you're meditating, it could be 5 minutes of silence. It could be 10, 15, 20, whatever. And, within a very short amount of time, even as long as you set that intention of like, okay, I really want to hear the messages. I really want to connect to spirit. You're going to get that message, and it's going to come very quickly, and maybe it won't come quickly. Maybe you'll have to tune in a couple of times, especially if your antenna is a little bit rusty because you don't tune in frequently. Then you are going to have to tune in a little bit more regularly. But if you do, like, say 5-10 minutes every single day this week, right up until Saturday, and then do, maybe a little bit of a longer meditation on Saturday, you might actually give yourself the opportunity to get some crazy downloads and a lot of very useful and wise information that will propel your life forward. This full moon, guys, is like Spirit's way of like giving us this like spiritual push and say, come on, people, you got this. Get going, move in the direction that you want to be moving in, and move in the direction that is going to bring happiness and fulfillment for you. Don't be afraid of this, and just like get going. The energy is here. It's like Spirit is supporting you. No excuses. So how can you support what you want to do next? That'll be also a good question to perhaps meditate upon and ask yourself during this time. How can I support myself next? What actions do I need to take to really support myself to move into the next phase of my life that I'm dying to move into? Because I know I'm done with this old cycle. I can feel the old cycle is ending. It's melting away from my life, and I'm ready for this. So think about that. You will also notice that you're actually going to feel a greater connection to your self-worth. So there's going to be this sense of an increased self-worth and self-love for ourselves during this week and this weekend. It's going to come very naturally. Again, it's this expansion, and it's actually Spirit's love that we're going to really be feeling and channeling into ourselves. So use that, like really use this as a gift and as power, and allow it to really push you and propel you into taking action. The right action, right? The kind of action that you know is going to support you, that you know is going to fulfill you and give you what you want and need. And if that's work, and it's going to take work, then be willing to do the work. It's going to pay off huge. So use this greater connection to your self-worth as your superpower. Now, ask yourself, what is possible for you? And tune in to see if there is more willingness to go for it, like, do I have the willingness to go for it? Because the energy is certainly going to give us the push to have the willingness to go for it, but the choice, of course, is always ours at the end of the day. There's also final push here for letting go of things that are not moving you forward. So this could be mindset, this could be bad habits, this could be excuses, this could be laziness, lack of motivation, your comfort zone. That's all a part of this energy as well. And not everything is meant to move forward with us, so just keep that in mind. So there's a huge completion and letting go energy. It's like internally, so that we can make space for the new that really wants to come in. And the one final thing I'm going to say here is that the North Node is moving out of Taurus and into Aries in the month of July. So right now the North Node is still in Taurus, and this is a huge push for us to focus on our business or financial goals, and also any projects that need completing. Anything that has to do with our finances and like projects and like side hustle and like a new business or a new project, this is the time to get that stuff done, because it's really going to continue nurturing us. But once July, the North Node shifts into Aries, that's going to change. So the energy of that is going to change. So that's basically it, guys. This is the message for today's video and for the upcoming full moon. And I hope you found it helpful. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.